Snafu is a podcast that contains adult themes and language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey guys, welcome to Snafu, where the situation's normal, all fucked up. This is the podcast where we tell you stories of true crime, true mystery, and the truly fucked up shit that happens every single day that we all seem to have forgotten. So, we decided to remind you. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Corey. Thanks for giving us a listen, guys. We're glad to be here.
Yeah, and thanks for checking in, because we're glad you're listening. Our schedule got a little wonky this week because we have a surprise for you guys. We're going to be doing another two-parter, and we didn't want you to have to wait, so both parts are coming out this week.
Yep, that, and, we kind of fell down a very, very deep rabbit hole that I didn't know if we'd ever kind of get back out of.
Yeah, you can just basically call me Alice.
Yeah, it gets pretty wild, even for us. We now have officially gotten swept up in the world of conspiracy theories. From the domination of the Christian church to aliens and UFOs.
Yeah, to lizard overlords, some soul scalping, and a brand new world order. And today, we're going to be telling you guys about a supposed cult leader, Sherry Shriner, and her beliefs.
And we're going to discuss how her theories may be to blame for a murder.
Ooh. All right, so like always, we are going to try our best.
And Shannon wrote that with weird quotation marks instead of underlining, so it looks suspicious on her show notes.
We're going to do our best to try to be empathetic, but, we like to leave it up so that you guys can make up your own mind. That being said, really realistically, it's really unlikely that we're going to succeed in this one today.
Yeah, most of my notes when I fall down these rabbit holes, I go to some pretty out there sites, so it says bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And I make fun of it when I'm writing it just so I can get a laugh out of it.
Yeah, I think you could probably keep that to yourself today, though, right?
I'll do my best.
Uh-huh. Okay. I am predicting a lot of hate mail, but that's fine. I mean, see, what we're going to be saying today and talking about, for some people, it's very, very real. And the whole point of a conspiracy theory is that you think it's real. To the people who believe this stuff, this is not a hoax. This is not a game. These are just reality that the majority of the world just can't seem to accept. So
it's not necessarily the majority of the world, it's just the vocal people. There's specific groups that will fall into these conspiracy theories, and I can't say I've not fallen into some before, but I think it'd make great sense for us to just kind of give the actual definition of conspiracies rather than your ideas on it.
Okay, I mean, I know that everyone already knows I'm a big conspiracy nut, and I follow this stuff almost religiously. And
it's bad.
It pops out here and there on the podcast. Sorry about that, not sorry. But I guess if you really feel like we should give a regular definition, I can do that.
Webster's Dictionary defines...
Shut up. So a conspiracy, according to the dictionary, thanks, Corey.
You're welcome.
Is just a secret plan by a group in order to do something unlawful or harmful. So like a plot to destroy the government or to commit an assassination.
Or get the twofer and go for Caesar.
Yeah. Or like JFK.
Yeah.
That is definitely a conspiracy theory that circles around right now, even today, about how many killers, how many shooters on the grassy knoll.
Yeah.
What? I mean, I don't know.
Wasn't that male models?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was.
Pretty sure I saw a documentary that stated that's all assassinations.
It did, and it had a hand
leaders.
model he was telling, and they're the smart ones.
All right, so then that's what a conspiracy is, and then you get to a conspiracy theory, which is the explanation for an event or a situation that you feel is sinister or will be carried out by powerful people in secret. Or it could be considered a belief that some covert group is responsible for an unexplained event. I mean, we've got conspiracy theories just in the United States alone dropping out the wazoo. We've got, like we said, John F. Kennedy.
Yep.
9/11.
Yep, because jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
I mean, we all know I'm a nut on this. I have feelings about 9/11. I know a lot of people do. It's, you're bordering that line of what can you question and why would you question it, but a lot of people are there. Yep. So that's definitely got multiple theories behind it.
You know, you got Hitler, who, you know, some people don't believe he's dead, but he'd be really old by now, so he's definitely got to be dead.
I mean, he's dead now, but a lot of people wonder if Hitler ever really did commit suicide, or if he escaped to Argentina, you know?
Yeah.
That's things that people have feelings about. Area 51.
Yeah, we already got our plane tickets, so see you guys there on September 20th.
I will be camping nearby watching the fireworks.
No, they can't get us all. We're gonna run like ninjas.
Like Naruto.
I don't know what that is. I heard Japanese ninja
I don't even know why
cartoon.
you're going then.
Because I want to see them aliens.
Gonna see them aliens. I'm sure they're gonna see you right back.
They might. I'm hoping.
Look, although, like, we know that conspiracy theories are a natural question. It's people questioning their reality. So it must be something that's literally as old as time itself. But the term conspiracy and the earliest examples of it, they actually come from like the 1800s, mostly around like 1870 and up. It's literally a new phenomena, and it's probably has everything to do with 19th, 20th, and 21st century education. Because what's better than education to have you start questioning literally everything?
It could be that, and I bet it's got a lot to do with the fact that there's so much news going around, and we get to see everything in real time now, especially nowadays.
But I mean, everyone now can actually read a newspaper. Everyone can go online and read those articles. Not everyone, you know, before 1870 was picking up a newspaper and could actually read the words that were in there. And you're totally right. We have television, we have nonstop mainstream news. I mean, the amount of information that's provided to us is ridiculous. And because of the speed of it, we also see a lot more things coming out that are wrong. Because people want to get that story out. They want to get it out right now, and then maybe we'll apologize later. So I believe that conspiracy theories are blowing up more than ever because we're just seeing it play out in front of our faces more than we've ever been a part of media before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, when you believe in conspiracy theories, it already kind of brings an idea to other people's heads. And most of the time, it rings of a negative connotation. If I tell you that one of your honest-to-God beliefs is a conspiracy theory, I look you dead in the eye after you tell me I believe X, Y, and Z, and I go, haha, that's a conspiracy theory, you're probably going to get pretty mad at me.
Yeah, like the education cult of, you know, the liberals.
Okay. But the thing is like, that's just it. People who believe in these theories, they don't see them as false. So, you know, it's just, it comes off as a negative connotation. If you say that to anybody, it's basically saying, I don't believe in what you believe. And there's also a lot of people who just think that if you agree to say that you're a conspiracy theorist, that you are either crazy or you are paranoid. But that's not always the case. The thing is, like we said, right now with news popping up all the time and us seeing things in real life going, oops, we missaid that, sorry. We've also seen other cases after many, many years coming to light and realizing that that wasn't a conspiracy, like something actually happened. And I think one of the best examples of this is the Tuskegee syphilis experiment.
Yeah.
In case anybody isn't quite sure what that is, that's a major experiment that our U.S. government held for 40 years.
I didn't realize it was 40 years.
It was supposed to be 6 months.
That's why, yeah, I remember hearing about it in passing. I think you told me it once, but...
So it is an unethical clinical study by the U.S. Public Health Service between 1932 to 1972. So it's definitely a story that we're going to have to get into another time, and probably fairly soon, because every time I start reading a little bit into it, I'm just totally blown away. But in short, the U.S. government did a 40-year study on a group of people that they controlled for untreated syphilis. So these were all poor black sharecropping farmers in Alabama. And these people were told that they were going to be in a 6-month study where they would be treated for bad blood. They were never even told that they had syphilis. Not everybody knew what these diseases were. You had a certain amount of symptoms, something was wrong with you. From 1930s, not a lot of people actually knew what syphilis was. We found out in the 40s that penicillin could fix syphilis. The problem is that this group of people were being told that they were gonna get free medical care, free food, and free life insurance for those 6 months while they were being treated for their bad blood. But the actual campaign ran out of money, And on top of that, they didn't stop the study, nor did they actually treat anybody with this syphilis. They told people, yeah, we see that you're sick and it can be passed on, so we're treating you. But instead, they just used it as a control group to watch what happens in a group of people when there's a strain of disease that is unchecked, that they just let rampant. So they had about 600 guys, and about 300 of them already had syphilis. And they told them they were treating them, and then instead they just released them back into their families, into their work groups, and wives and children also contracted syphilis, and they died. This happened for 40 years. It's been cited as the most infamous biomedical research study in the U.S. history. It's the reason why you sign so much paperwork before your doctor can do anything with you.
And you should probably read some of it.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't.
But
yeah, sure.
As far as conspiracy theories go, they're huge parts of our lives. Even today. Last decade, legal scholars have been throwing around their own ideas about how to control conspiracy theories, how to limit the amount of information that's getting out there. They see it as a very negative element into society. It's like winding people up over something that might not be true, and people get aggressive and violent. And so one of the answers that keeps popping up is that it just needs to be filtered. It needs to be censored or taxed. Does that sound familiar to you?
Like tea. Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like, what the FCC is wanting to do with the internet, and they are, like, especially in the U.S., but they're doing it elsewhere, like in China.
Exactly. So it's just people talking about ideas and what they believe. But the thing is like now that people can to propagate their own ideas and pass it anywhere in the world that they want to, like they don't have to get a news article in a newspaper. Like you were just uncontrolled. And now there's groups of people that are like, we don't like this. And honestly, we're starting to see some of the reasons why, thanks to AKA a lot of the shootings we've just seen.
Yeah.
So that being said, it really ties into our topic today of Sherry Shriner. And she would say that she's not a conspiracy theorist. She would say everything she knows is actually true, so it's not a conspiracy.
Ah, yeah, that definitely makes it.
I mean, she also would say she's not a cult leader because she has no control over anyone else. But is any of this true? Is she a conspiracy theorist? Is she a cult leader? I mean, we've decided to let you guys decide. As always, we hate to take responsibility, so there you go.
You guys make up your own mind. We're gonna have our own opinions, though.
So we're gonna tell you all about Sherry Shriner and what she believes, and you guys get to make up your own mind. So, Corey, go ahead and tell us about Sherry and what she believes in.
All right. Well, first, Sherry is gonna be pretty easy to explain. It's her theories that are going to be a little bit tricky and going to kind of take up the majority of our episode today.
Yep.
She's been a very busy woman, actually. She has a Facebook following of over 1,500 people, a website, YouTube recordings, a 3 times a week podcast, and published 3 different books.
Yeah, she a busy lady.
Yeah.
And she is prolific as hell. This woman loves to write. I cannot even explain the amount of time I've sat there reading her stuff.
She was born in Cleveland, Ohio on December 11th in 1965. She would relate that, she grew up in a very religious upbringing, going so far as to say that she herself would proclaim the name of Jesus by the age of 2. She goes on to claim that in her childhood that she had night terrors and that there was an evil demonic being haunting her.
I mean, I had nightmares as a little kid, and they seemed extreme as well. I mean, I didn't think of a demonic being, but
yeah,
I definitely dreamed of a giant hamster/rat sitting in the corner of my, door frame. I was convinced for, 2 years that was a thing.
Yeah, but you didn't have a 7-foot-tall creature staying at the foot of your bed wearing a black cape, did you?
No, my creature was not stylish as hell.
No, would your creature also say that they were Lucifer's top generals?
No.
Who had been sent to kill you?
No.
So you're not Sherry, because that's what she had. A 7-foot-tall black creature that was Lucifer's top general, out there strictly to kill 7-year-old Sherry. The reason she has this one 7-foot-tall demon chasing her is because it is Sherry's life's purpose since birth to expose, attack, and tear down Satan's strongholds that he created to control and destroy mankind.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But, back to Sherry's childhood. She was enrolled in Christian schools and attended church regularly. She felt that her true love in life was God, but that the religious setting of the church was too constricting.
Don't we all, Sherry?
And, that she was not allowed to question the Bible, because what the Bible has written, that's the word of God. But boy, did she know her Bible. By the age of 12, she read that book backwards and forwards with a particular zeal over the book of Revelations. The one exciting book in the Bible.
Yeah, that one, the only part that every 13-year-old grabs the Bible and is like, look at this, dragons.
I'm going to go listen to Slayer. And according to her, by the age of 18, she probably read the Bible more times than your average pastor.
And this is where I just want to note that this is Sherry's typical attitude. I am so great. I am so great. Like, I have to be better.
Best.
Yeah, so already by, before she's 18, she's basically asserting her stability in religion and how great she's at it because she's obviously read it more than most pastors, and yet she questions it.
Yeah. And, that's always a challenge. But following, her teen years, she went on to attend Liberty Baptist University over in Lynchburg, Virginia. And that's when she became interested in radio news. It's the 80s after all. So, synth pop, Rush, and scrunchies, and radio, I think are all that actually happened in the 80s, isn't it?
I feel like every 80s movie was either a ski movie or a beach movie, but there was always that one guy who was in charge of the radio station.
Supposedly, she became the campus radio news director after her first year at school. But to boot, she also got her first real job as a political news reporter and announcer at a radio station, as well as a super secret internship over in Roanoke, Virginia under an alias because it's a competing radio station.
Uh-huh. I'm sure that was, need to have.
It absolutely was.
Fucking cutthroat in these radio stations.
Yeah, these, small radio stations. And this all supposedly adds up to her getting several journalism awards in just the 2 years that she was in that area.
Wait, so everything you just said, she did in 2 years of college?
Yep. Because she eventually transfers over to Kent State University. So she goes at Liberty after her first year, you're now the director of our radio news. Which, when I was in college, getting director of the radio wasn't a big deal because there were 4 people interested on a whole campus that were interested in radio. But yeah, so she eventually transfers to Kent State University, and she becomes the director of that campus radio station as well. She also got herself a job at a local newspaper that focused on political news. Sherry says she graduated in 91 with degrees in criminal justice, journalism, and political science.
Jesus, she's just like Carl from our first episode. I got 17 degrees and I only did it in 2 years, and I do work outside of school, and I'm, managing editor of blah-de-blah. Come on. How much can you throw at somebody for people to believe your bullshit?
I just, this one I can kind of believe because criminology or criminal justice and political science, they kind of have some courses that overlap. And journalism will definitely overlap into it. So it might be possible in 4 years.
I don't know. I used to also hear that you could go to work part-time in a gas station and still pay your way through college.
Yeah,
so
in the 60s.
I guess the 80s and the 90s were a totally different game than what I know.
Oh yeah, they definitely were.
I'm being sarcastic, but okay.
Oh, well, I think they are. Anyway, after graduation, she'd move and make a go at heading to Washington, D.C. and try her hand at journalism in our nation's capital for CNN.
Ooh.
However, the D.C. headquarters told her that she didn't have enough experience despite all your awards and being campus director of radio stations.
But she was in charge of everything.
And she has 2 different jobs. She didn't have enough experience, and sadly there was no work for her in D.C. So, dejected, Sherry moved back to Ohio, decided to get married, pop out a kid, and become an unemployed, stay-at-home mom.
That'd be nice. I would like to fail and then be like, oh, I guess I'll fall back on my crutch. I'll go get married. That's just a thing you can make happen.
Yeah, apparently for her it is. This seems to be when Sherry realized that her demons, those figures that are following her since her childhood, were back.
Oh no.
So she must have left them in Ohio. And she was actually staring life in the face right now, and she needed to confront these demonic presences right now.
AKA, I'm bored.
Yeah, basically.
And I have nothing else to take my time out on. Cool, Sherry. And that's exactly it. So Sherry's got a lot of time on her hands, and she's used to being busy, and now she needs to fill that time. So for the next 5 years, Sherry dives super deep into her own research to help basically save herself. It's really all about Sherry. So she's going to study spiritual warfare, the realm of Satan and his demons, as well as what she called the deception of the church.
Uh-oh.
She's also concentrating on her oh-so-favorite part of the Bible, obviously, Revelations and the end times.
She wants to see that dragon.
But we all know that Sherry, she's a pretty smart cookie. So obviously that's not everything Sherry's diving into. Like, she's also searching way more stuff than that. Because she's now getting into researching government black ops, UFOs, and the New World Order.
All the things for a balanced conspiracy.
So, Sherry learned how to defeat the general of Satan that Corey told you was haunting her since childhood. He was sent to kill her, and in fact, she says she can kick any evil's butt after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's tough.
But the real beginning of Sherry's spiritual awakening, according to her, started in 1994. When God began to give her visions.
Aw.
So now at first, she wasn't sure what these visions were. I mean, would you think instantly that God was giving you visions?
No, I think I'd be going crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure she did too, but she figured it out. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Sherry got back on track and realized that she was just talking to God, and she just needed to constantly pray to him. She's constantly reaching out to him going, Yahweh, which is what she likes to refer to him. Or sometimes, Dad. She actually likes to call him Dad.
I think it's ever Daddy.
No.
I hope not.
Daddy, please.
Oh,
please
Daddy,
tell me what to do. Oh my God, I can't
I'm
even
so
do this
sorry,
for
Daddy.
Oh my God, I can't do this. So...
Not what you say. Confession, all you Catholics.
So that all begins for her in 1994. But by 2001... Yahweh revealed to her that she needed to purchase a Bible codes program.
Uh-oh.
And through this program, and obviously with God's help, Sherry learned how to decode the Bible. So something Sherry says was very difficult for her was doing this decoding. It was hard. She wanted to give up, but God obviously guided her, and that's how she succeeded. She says that she's seen many people try to do the same thing, and yet found very few, besides herself, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Who are guided into doing it correctly. So the things that she's decoded out of this Bible, well, she's definitely found her own name.
Of course.
And she confirmed for herself that the Lord had made her his messenger and mouthpiece, because she also realized that this was the end times.
What I have an issue with is if the book of the Bible is supposed to lead everybody, why do we need a code to decode it? Just write it the way it is. Save us a step.
Okay.
Oh, on this day, a dragon's gonna show up. I'm really obsessed with this dragon.
Why don't you write the Pope then and ask for all that shit that they've
I will. Can you give me the cliff
stuck
notes?
underneath the? No, they don't. And I can see where she's coming from. I get what you're saying too. I get that you mean if this is God's word to everybody, then everybody should be able to read it and understand it. That's the whole point.
Yeah. Why are prophecies never easy?
But at the same time, we've seen Bibles get translated over and over and over again. Certainly wasn't written in English.
No, probably not.
And then to boot, we've also got the original church would have been the Catholic Church, and they have taken out pieces. They have hidden stuff, under the Vatican. They have their own records and things that people, beautiful ancient things that people will probably never get to see in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And so in her idea that the book isn't just the book. It's not just point blank, and there's a code in it. And if you're just good enough at reading this code, then technically God didn't keep it out of the book from you. You just got to figure it out.
Yeah. But the big question here is, but why Sherry? Ohio-based little Sherry Shriner. Well, the thing is, she says that God would tell her often that she reminded him of David.
Who's David? That guy down the street?
No, that guy that threw a rock and hit a giant?
Oh, that one?
Yeah. In fact, that's actually her grandfather, according to Sherry, but for the rest of us, probably great times, a bunch.
Great.
Yeah, that's why I said a bunch.
Yeah.
In 2004, God told Sherry to go check the code herself, and right there in the code, Sherry Shriner is a descendant of King David.
Yeah, she's destined to do this.
I'm sure that was written over the course of 16 different pages, but she was able to highlight Sherry Shriner very quickly. But this is also why she's particularly so brave and fearless.
At least in the face of demons.
In the face of demons and those that are gonna kill us all, yeah. Seems to me like those codes could tell you a whole lot if you knew how to look at it.
Yeah, like we were just saying.
Yeah, and evidently, they can tell you the plans from daily events to the very plans for world governments. No more worries about fake news if you can read between the lines of the Bible.
So it's like basically the Farmer's Almanac, but the Bible version.
Yeah, you gotta know how to look at it.
Okay.
And that's how, in 2002, God led her into discovering the alien agenda. She discovered that there would be a coming alien invasion to America and the rest of the world. And really, since early 2004, Sherry has been reaching out to the world to help spread her message. By 2010, she'd gotten sufficiently into the online world that, according to her, 116 different countries looked at her website every day.
Yeah, she definitely has a much more extended reach than we do. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Lots of people are able to see what Sherry Shriner has to say. So obviously, I've told you how much this woman has written, and we cannot tell you all of the things that Sherry believes in. This would literally turn into at least a year-long program trying to break that apart, I feel like. But we can talk about some of her core concepts.
Yeah, we get these from her website itself, so pretty much just straight up from the first source.
So, we've told you who she is. Let's dive into what she believes. Sherry believes in the Christian faith. I think we've pretty much established that.
Yep.
God is Yahweh, like we said. And in her idea, he did send his son to earth to redeem mankind. And that son was crucified on a cross and then rose back to life 3 days later. But this is where we start to divulge from anything you're going to hear in church.
Fandom Jesus opposed to book Jesus. This can be fun.
According to Sherry, the Jesus that the modern day Christian church prays to is not God's son. In her eyes, the church manipulated the Bible, specifically the King James Version, and purposely mistranslated this person's name to Jesus, when it should be Yahshua.
Which is like Joshua written with a Y, so there you go.
I think they got it. So, this Jesus that the current day church teaches today, according to Sherry, is actually Satan himself.
Plot twist.
Yeah, I feel super uncomfortable even, talking about this. But, yeah, she definitely says everything you're learning about Jesus, he's a false prophet. He's Satan. He is bringing in the Antichrist. She also believes that there were 12 apostles and not 13 to include the person that was to replace Judas. So the person that kind of replaced Judas after he killed himself was Paul. And according to Sherry, Paul is a super false prophet, unlike her.
Yeah, the trick with that one is, I don't know where she's getting her information, just having grown up.
From God! When are you, what part?
I know. But, the account of the apostles, you always kind of grow up hearing 12, and then, yeah, obviously Judas leaves, but then after Jesus is gone, risen, it's not really the apostles anymore. They're kind of a whole group of people, a whole new religion. So her number is a little bit odd, but we're going to just kind of leave that fact sitting there without going too deep into it.
No, I'm about to get into it.
Oh, okay. I guess we're going to get into it.
I mean, so she is big on Paul. She has major problems with Paul. She does not like the things he says. And so her problem is with the King James Version, that there's a huge portion of his writings there at the end. And according to her, it's literally 99% of the false Bible writings comes from Paul. And she feels that his whole purpose of manipulating the Bible was to convince people to adopt pagan rituals and customs instead of following what the Bible really tells you to do.
Is that why we have Easter bunnies?
Exactly. So, I mean, according to her, and some examples, they're pretty simple. So, Easter bunnies and eggs, and everybody knows that as the Roman civilization started to spread across Europe, they were bringing their religion with them, including Christianity. And that we know that Christianity, there's certain holidays, certain dates that got flipped around. Every time Christmas comes up, you hear everybody talk about, oh my God, this isn't really Jesus's birthday. We just did this to take over Yule, and yeah, that shit happens. When you move a religion into a new area and you're totally trying to convince somebody to take on a brand new religion that none of their family or them has ever heard of, yet alone practiced, you have to make it a little understandable to them. You have to manipulate it a little bit so that things make sense. This is her major problem, and she believes it's all to blame on Paul. She says that Paul tells you can speak in tongues when you shouldn't. She says that the feeling of rapture in the church, that's pagan. So if you're sitting there and you're throwing your hands up in church and you feel the power of God come over you, you're wrong.
Like the Blues Brothers?
Yeah. She probably hates them.
No missions from God, I guess.
Right? Only to her. So she also thinks the Lord commanded people to go to church on the Sabbath, which she says would be the seventh day, Saturday, not Sunday. We're all wrong.
I still feel like because of the work week, God would start building stuff on a Monday. He'd wake up on the Saturday beforehand and be like, I'm not going to start tomorrow. Give me 2 days off.
Whatever. It literally comes down to nitpicking translations at this point. And then it gets worse because Sherry has some very strong thoughts on the Jewish folks.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and Israel, obviously. So, in Sherry's view, those saved by Yahshua, so Jesus,
her Jesus, not the real Jesus.
Right. So, those are considered the new covenant, and then these people are going to replace the Old Testament seed line of Israel. So, in her own words, quote, those who worship and follow him are the new Israel. What does this mean?
I'm not touching this one.
Essentially, it means that Israel was promised, it's a promised land to the Jews. Like God said, I'm gonna get you out of here and here's your promised land and like you come here. But according to Sherry, if you are a Christian, all this has negated that. Like that's the new Israel. So it actually does, Israel doesn't belong to Jews whatsoever. In her eyes, it belongs to the saved Christians. She also believes that the Jewish government of Israel today are the, quote, fake Khazar Jews and serpent seed line Jews. Yeah. These are the ones she thinks are running Israel on a political ideology of Satanism/Zionism and a new world order. So that's fun.
She's a happy person.
All right. She says... Like, I just feel like we just, like, I know we gave warning, but I feel like we just never could give enough fucking warning.
Yeah, and this is such a sensitive topic, so that's why we're kind of going fairly quickly through her Israel stuff.
She also goes on to say that the Holocaust was actually implemented by this particular line of Jewish people. And this particular line includes Adolf Hitler, so that the Torah, Yahshua believing Jews could be replaced by the fake Jews so they could establish their own homeland.
Yeah.
And finally, she believes that their religion is, like we said, actually Satanism and Zionism and not Judaism, and that what they're doing right now is simply them working towards leading the world into worship of Satan and ushering in the Antichrist.
So, on that note, let's get back into some more of the more fun stuff, shall we?
Let's please do that.
We're gonna tackle her thoughts on aliens and UFOs, which, according to Sherry, they're not actually extraterrestrials from another planet and little green men. No. Aliens are actually fallen angels.
Yep.
Beautiful, shimmering, shining fallen angels.
Shimmering, shining.
Is that the Little Mermaid?
Splendid.
Nope, that's Aladdin.
It's also me not being able to sing, so I didn't even really try.
Yeah. And this belief that aliens are actually fallen angels kind of helps fulfill Joel 2 and Revelation chapter 9 in the last days of the world.
Yeah, it talks about angels coming and running over the land and everything before them falls and everything behind them is burned. But it all begins with a giant, like, comet storm.
Yeah,
and those are really just fallen angels.
Yeah, it's all falling to earth. I think that's an episode of Supernatural, too. But that kind of makes Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, the big kahuna downstairs, an alien. And evidently, Satan has a strong foothold in the military and the government.
I feel like I could have told you that.
Yeah, that makes a little bit of sense. Aliens abduct people through their foot soldiers. These built little gray men who actually look like our traditional aliens, but they're actually a subset of the actual aliens, of the fallen angels.
You're literally trying to tell me that angels come down as fallen and then they build little aliens?
Yeah, that's why the song from Styx, Come Sail Away, seems like it's about aliens, or angels, but it's about aliens.
No, what are you even talking about?
We'll listen to the song afterwards. It's about an alien abduction.
It's about a douching or something.
Come Sail Away?
Oh, wait.
You're thinking about a different song.
I am.
No, Come Sail Away is about angels, but it's also metaphor for alien abduction.
Shit, I just thought that was about sailing away.
No, it's about aliens. But aliens, they're also paying off the world government with technology in order to propagate an aliens don't exist policy. Basically, the aliens and the governments are working together, and in order to keep it quiet about the aliens and their hidden agenda, they're providing us with all sorts of technology, and that's why, human technology is jumping by leaps and bounds in these end days. For a long time, we were just using wood and metal workings, but we didn't have electricity and super technology. That's, the past 200 years that it's been around.
Maybe that's why every time we, talk about UFOs, somebody's like, no, that's just secret government technology, and you haven't seen it yet, and that's why it looks so cool and weird.
Yeah, and then 5 years later, we whip something out like that.
Yeah.
And also, she says that the aliens and the government, when they're working together, they have 131 joint bases that are shared by the humans and aliens that are called DUMBs. And
okay.
DUMB here is probably the worst acronym, but it's deep...
Or the best.
Yeah. Look at those DUMBs over there. It's Deep Underground Military Bases.
Okay. See? DUMBs. Gotcha.
And, there was a treaty between the aliens and the American government that goes all the way back to the 1930s when Eisenhower and Roosevelt signed this so-called treaty.
So literally, she thinks that before Area 51 and before 1950 and all this, stuff, no, Eisenhower and Roosevelt were, parlaying with a freaking alien.
Yep, before Roswell even happened.
Okie
dokie. But there's a big problem here where aliens aren't really the best kept secret anymore, are they?
I mean, I feel like we all know.
Yeah, that's why we're all having that race. We all talk about it. We hear about the abductions. And Sherry says this is why the aliens are working with our governments to create a new world order.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just getting too darn hard to hide the fact that these aliens exist.
So, what's a new world order?
So, a new world order is where aliens no longer have to hide in their DUMBs.
Who would want to hide there?
No, it's hidden and deep. It's a world where aliens and humans can coexist and interbreed. But the interbreeding isn't really to help humans, it's more for the aliens to contaminate our DNA. Instead, these aliens want to come and be worshipped like gods. And according to Sherry, this isn't the first time that's happened. Back in the day when there was polytheism, all those gods you hear about and the saints and everything, those were actually aliens coming down to visit with us, the rabble of humanity.
Yeah, when you read anything about Isis or Hercules or Zeus or Nordic gods like Thor, in Sherry's opinion, these are literally just fallen angel aliens who have come to Earth, and because they are still so mighty and powerful and different, that they just wanted to take over the world and were letting themselves be worshipped as gods.
Yep.
And that they failed. That's why they disappeared and started to keep themselves quiet.
And now that they're back, they actually want to change their whole branding. They're using a whole new company. They're going to be called the Ascended Masters in the New Age movement, as opposed to gods. And humans, of course, they're going to end up being slaves and will be looked at like animals.
I mean, it's all we're really good for.
It really, at this point, it is. In order to depopulate...
that and, Soylent meat, right? We're just good to be
Soylent Green, yeah. That's just how we'll feed them.
Clean it up or we're eating you.
And in order to depopulate the human race, there's going to be a cleansing because there are just too damn many of us compared to them. And, these cleansing techniques are going to come through diseases. How we, and this all kind of comes out because aliens and their government's connections, they're kind of really understanding the human biology. The Human Genome Project was definitely in on it.
I mean, if they've been working with our government since the 30s, it's not like they didn't technically have full access to any medical records they wanted.
Or actual people.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have you heard about an abduction and some super duper probing?
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable, I've been told. But anyway, using this probing and understanding biology, the aliens were actually the ones who created things like cancer, AIDS, and mad cow disease, just to name a few.
So whenever you're cursing cancer, don't forget to say, damn those aliens.
And shake your fist at the sky. But you might be asking, Corey, how could the aliens spread these diseases?
Corey, how could these aliens be spreading diseases?
Well, Sherry has that all figured out.
Obviously.
It's through chemtrails.
Okay.
And, this all kind of seems like a lot just for one alien race to take over the planet, doesn't it?
It sounds like a lot of conspiracy theories all revolving into one, but sure.
See, Sherry really thinks that it's all the aliens just being on top of their game. And according to Sherry, that's because they've been around since the Old Testament. Kind of like I was insinuating earlier, and Shannon was too. Those old gods, Thor...
There are parts of the Bible that say, like, there are half men, half angels walking around, that they are literal giants, and then at some point, they just kind of disappear. It's at the very early beginning of the Bible.
Yeah.
So this is where she's relaying a lot of this information out of, is saying that, if you just want to make it make sense, here it is in the Bible, and then we just have to add up to it where it would make sense in history to us.
Right. And, they've been around since the Old Testament. They've been around for all these years. And they're back again. And they're trying to bring about this new world order. But they're actually run by a council of 13 aliens known as the Illuminati.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Illuminati, or sometimes they'll call themselves the Council of the 13. Take your pick.
At this point, I guess the Illuminati kind of loses its glow, right?
Yeah, I figured it's just Beyonce's new boy band. And, these are the guys who direct events on the Earth that cause nations and races to pit war against one another, so that their plan of world domination can happen.
I mean, what better to do than make us all fight one another and then take over?
Yeah, if they can kill each other, then we can just sit back and watch. And they do this through their hybrid children that they've created. With mating and abductions and all that fun stuff. And these Illuminati families, they run the governments, the military, the economy, and the entertainment world.
Not Hollywood!
Oh no!
How am I gonna survive? Oh, actually, they make pretty good TV. I'm good.
We're fine with these hybrids.
Do better, aliens.
Yeah,
Fucking Game of Thrones was bullshit.
Yeah, you guys are better than that. You've been around forever. Make it better. But get ready for this one, because the takeover has been happening since the 30s. And evidently, what we all don't realize is that the aliens have been infiltrating our lives with alien technology for years, and the whole plan is to make that technology fail. If everything's based off alien technology,
what?
They can hit the switch and turn it off.
Oh no. I know what that means, because if you live here in Florida and anybody's been through a fucking hurricane and then spent the next week and a half with no power, you realize by day 1.5 you're ready to kill your everybody.
Yeah, I think you're about to do that with me, weren't you?
The neighbor kids, your roommates, the cats, you're just done. All this technology going away, we're screwed.
So if they can just, clap on, clap off all our technology, the end of the world will come very quickly because we're all going to be helpless against the invading aliens.
But just in case you're not scared enough yet, just in case we didn't give you the oogie boogies over aliens just yet, I want to tell you what else you should be afraid of, and that is reptiles.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So reptiles are evidently Satan's creatures. We've always known that snakes have been related to Satan and the Garden of Eden. In Greece, it was always associated with women. It's often depicted with witches. Satan, snakes.
Yeah, but then you'll hear the
peasy.
tube snake Boogie, who's the only good snake.
In fact, if you're picking up what I'm throwing down, Sherry even associated it with a type of lineage of Jewish people, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, according to Sherry, lizards and reptiles are in the last phase of their human domination plan, and it all ties into the control of our government.
And we just saw 2 lizards with our upstairs neighbor yesterday.
Oh my god, they were so cute.
They're gonna get us real quick.
It's an atlatl and a mud puppy. Yeah, they can control me all they want. They already got me. So, reptiles are just aliens working for Satan, and reptile aliens are in the process of replacing human beings.
Ah.
Yeah. So normally, in their true form, they're usually going to be taller than about 6'4". Yeah,
we got people taller than that.
These are tall. Not really. The ones that are taller than that are really badly hidden aliens, obviously.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Look, what they do is they're infiltrating into our society, and they are studying people, especially the person that they want to replace, pick up their habits, just the way like Johnny Depp does.
Yeah, of course.
When he wants to play a role.
Wear 16 scars and 14 bracelets.
Yeah, and then you are that person. So they will come for you, and you are never safe. Realize this. Like, they're going to come, and it just doesn't matter where you are, because when they do, they're going to come and soul scalp you.
That does not sound comfortable.
And this is how it occurs, according to Sherry. You're going to be anywhere. You're going to be home. You're going to be at your office. Night, day, weekend. It doesn't matter, because there's going to be some MIB kind of looking guys who are going to show up.
The good guys.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
No. The suited government, the man, is going to show up, and they're going to grab you. And what they're going to do is they're going to snatch your face, and they're going to open up your jaw, and they're going to place a teeny tiny 6 to 8 inch ooey gooey snake down your throat.
Now, I'm not, typically having things shoved down my throat, but
yeah, sure you are.
6 to 8 inch, like a good size? Or are we calling that tiny now?
I feel like you're going to get a lot of suggestions and letters and people wondering what it is you think is a good size.
I don't know, because that's not what I go for.
The reality of it is that she says they're going to grab your face, they're going to shove this snake down your throat, and these reptile aliens, they can transform into these little snakes, and that is what's going to take over your body.
Gross.
Once they're in, they possess you. They take over the human, they take over their brain, they take over everything. And they become that person. In fact, she thinks that they'll also have more take over your wife and your children. You don't want questions. Why is daddy acting weird? You won't ask if you're one too. They take over everyone. So if a whole family next door starts acting weird, it's not because you won't take out your trash properly. It's because they've all been abducted by these reptile men, right?
Yeah, sounds easy, yeah.
And if you're wondering, if this was so true, I would see this popping up more. They're in their final phases. But the fact is just, you're not important enough. Okay? These guys want to take over the upper echelons of everything that's in control. The government, the banking industry, like we said, the entertainment world, and, even judges and doctors. Basically, anyone that has influence is going to be abducted and turned into a lizard person.
Is that why Ruth Bader Ginsburg is so awesome?
That's why she's living forever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then they're doing all right with her.
So
good pick, aliens.
Sherry's website, her Twitter feed, her Facebook, it's literally full of videos and audio discussing this soul scalping. And who's been soul scalped? And I've literally sat here for 16 minutes listening to Sherry explain why Meg Ryan, Miley Cyrus, and Taylor Swift are all obvious lizard people. I mean, she just sits there and she points out Meg Ryan's bad plastic surgery. And she's like, see this picture from 20 years ago and see this one now? She's clearly a lizard person.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Dude, this was the beginning of my research. And the moment I heard that, I was like, oh, shit. Sherry's not from Florida. Sherry doesn't get to look at bad plastic surgery every day. That's for damn certain. Okay. So that's when I discovered she's from Ohio.
Yeah.
But yeah, she just points out the lip filler and the cheek implants. And then she just thinks oh, your eyes are getting squinty because the reptile person in you is poking out. She sits there and she talks about the clavicle for God knows how long. She won't shut the hell up about clavicles.
Do lizards actually have clavicles?
Sherry has no idea what human biology actually is. If she had a basic education in the human skeleton, she would actually know what a clavicle is. It's that bone right here under your neck, on top of your chest. That little dip
I think any of the humans might know where that is.
The dip in between, right below your throat. You feel that? How many of you just put your hand there and you didn't think about it? Haha, made you do it. So anyways, she loves to point out these starlets and point out how prevalent this dip is in their damn throat. When in reality, what she's pointing out is the fact that these women are basically anorexic. They're just really skinny. You're actually seeing human bones. That's her whole point. And then she goes on to talk about their eyes and the lighting, and she has videos where people are slipping up and they're transforming in your very eyes.
I saw those. They're a really bad picture of Rihanna, but apparently just bad pictures in motion are when they're transforming.
Usually it's like Rihanna, or it's some poor girl at a basketball game. I mean, lots of people talk about the Queen. We're not even diving into the Queen, but the whole point is like she feels like with social media, there's just obvious video of this every day. So if you weren't to believe her in this, then you're just a blind fool. But it's just that, according to Sherry, the reason why we see this all the time, and it's so obvious, is because lizard people can't keep up this charade forever. Once they take over a body, they can only do it for so long before the actual lizard person starts really showing up in their features, such as your clavicles being really obvious. Or, maybe if your throat, is very skinny and shows the ligatures in it, you are a lizard person. And according to her, because they can't keep up this charade, they have to even make multiple clones to replace this by. Obviously, when somebody's, say, in Hollywood for 40 years, they can't keep that up for 40 years. We just have to go and make a new one and replace them.
Sounds about right, yeah.
So I wish we could get deeper into it, but we've already fallen very deep down some very limited rabbit holes. And I don't feel like going into clones and Siths and all this other nonsense of her. But that really, if we were going to stick with the bare bones, that is Sherry Shriner. These are the beliefs that she believes so strongly because God is talking in her head every day and letting her know. And in fact, Sherry's been sharing it, just like we told you before. She is on social media. She has, 1,500 followers on Facebook. The woman has a GoFundMe account and a Patreon. In fact, she's got a lot more people on Patreon than we do because we don't have a Patreon.
Well, that's a good way to, yeah. That's
But, so that really breaks down to, if you want to think about it, think about conspiracy theories. Here's Sherry Shriner, who's very big on getting her word out. And according to her, it is. She can see it. 116 countries. But like we said, we have to do this in a two-parter. This has gone on super long, and we've only touched the surface of Sherry and her beliefs, and it still hit us to about an hour. But don't worry. If we've gotten you all freaked out and you started folding up that tinfoil hat, you're worried about the aliens coming down or a snake going down your throat and becoming a lizard person, don't worry. Sherry has a defensive weapon for you. We're just not going to tell you till next episode.
So get ready, guys, and, hope we enjoyed this one, and we're going to kind of help you guys save the world, and Sherry's going to lead us to the salvation.
Yeah, come on back. We're going to drop it this week. You can find out what Sherry's secret weapon is, and then we're also going to talk about a murder, and we're going to decide whether or not we could really lay this blame of it at Sherry's feet. Until then, I think I'm going to go have to get myself another glass of wine, because I am literally freaked out.
Yep. So thanks for coming in and listening to this episode, and we'll see you at the next one.
Yeah. Till then, go make a pirate hat out of your tinfoil.
Yeah.
See you there.
Bye.